Today we're going to be working with something new and possibly exciting. I have here polyurethane resin, and this resin has a 10-minute curing time, which is totally insane to me. Most of the resins I use usually take about 24 hours to 48 hours to cure, so this is going to be really interesting. Work time is 2 minutes, and this resin cures opaque white. The resin curing opaque white is what I'm most on the fence about, but let's see how we get along with it. So here's what the bottles look like, and I'm actually surprised by how fluid the polyurethane resin is. It's almost like water, but this is great. It should mean that it's going to be a lot easier to mix up the resin, especially since we only have that 2-minute work time. I'm going to be using my trusty heart mold, and I thought we'd make a bunch of different hearts, trying different things and seeing what works with the polyurethane resin. The first thing I want to try with it is mica powders. Now, I actually won't be mixing it into the resin this time. I want to try this other technique I've seen here on YouTube that I really loved. I'll link that video down below to give credit to the artist, who by the way is Claire from Claire's Crafty Corner. The next thing I want to try is alcohol inks, and I will be mixing it with the resin. I don't think I've actually ever tried alcohol inks in resin before, so it looks like this video is going to be full of firsts for me. And the last thing I want to try is adding glitters, which I'll show you guys in a bit which ones I'm going to use. Now before we do anything, I just want to quickly go in with some tape to clean up my molds to remove any dust particles that are on it. And now we can get started. So like I mentioned before, this resin cures opaque white, and what I'm going to do with the mica powders is I'm going to be lightly sprinkling it directly onto the mold itself, then spray it with alcohol and then fill it with the resin. This way we'll be able to see the true colors of the mica powders and possibly get a pretty effect. At some point I will try mixing mica powders with polyurethane resin, but I think I'm going to be leaving that for a future video. To keep the mica powders from going into the other hearts, I'm just going to use some paper to cover them up to create a barrier. Then very gently I'm going to tap my brush and just let the mica powder fall just like so. Now this video is going to be more of a demo. I thought it'd be interesting to record the process of my first time using this resin, just in case there's anyone out there who wants to learn more about polyurethane resin. Now for the next hearts, I'm going to do the same thing, but this time with glitter! I've chosen red, blue, and silver, and oh look, we have the US colors, and also France's. Again, I'm just gently tapping my spoon, letting the glitter fall where it may, and just look at how gorgeous this holographic glitter is. If you guys haven't tried Larisse's glitters yet, I highly recommend their General Mix holographic ones. They're absolutely stunning. Now with a bit more tape, I'm just going to clean up my edges. That way we won't have any pieces of glitters pulling the resin out of the heart cavities. And now we can go ahead and mix up our resin. So because I don't know exactly how this resin process is going to go, I'm going to start by mixing small amounts of resin first. I'm going to start with 2 ounces. By the way, this resin is a 1-to-1 ratio resin. I can't remember if I've already said that, but it's equal parts. So for 2 ounces of resin, I need 1 ounce of part A and 1 ounce of part B. And for fun, I'm also going to have my clock here on the side so you guys can see how fast this resin actually cures. This video is sped up at ×2, but with the clock here, you guys will be able to see how long the process takes, especially if you note down the start and finish times. Here, I'm just waiting for the clock to turn to 5:53. And here we go. Mixing the resin was really easy. Because of the viscosity, it only took a minute to mix it thoroughly. If I seem a bit shaky, it's because I'm trying to be as fast as I can. After a minute, the resin is getting really hot, and I'm just trying to get that resin into this mold ASAP. First, I'm going to fill in the glittery hearts since all I have to do is pour the resin in. Now to fill the hearts with the micas, I'm first going to spray them with some 99% alcohol and then pour the resin in. The reason I'm spraying it with alcohol first is so the alcohol gives the powders some movement, so as I'm pouring the resin on top, it'll give us a pretty effect. And now as the resin is curing, I'm going to put this part on a time lapse. How cool is this? Seeing the resin cure in front of our eyes just like that. The fact that this resin cures white is what makes this part so much cooler to see. And just like that, the resin is cured to the touch. Wow, this is so cool. Okay, so now for the rest of the hearts. Now that we know how fast this resin actually cures, I don't think I have enough time to use so many alcohol inks, so I'm just going to pick one. The new plan is I'm going to make 1 heart pigment only, 1 heart pigment mixed with glitter, and for the last one, I'm going to sprinkle some glitter on top of the mold again, and then pour pigmented resin on top of it. Oh, and I can't forget to fill that last heart with the mica powder. So I've gone ahead and already sprinkled that heart with the glitter. I accidentally forgot to press record while I was doing it since this is all rush, but it's okay. Again, I'm going to mix another 2 ounces of resin, and I'm going to fill the heart with the mica first so I don't forget, and now we can put in our alcohol ink. Now I'm not sure how much alcohol ink to put in, so I'm just going to do 7 drops and mix it up. And lastly, let's put in some of this blue gorgeous glitter into the rest of the resin and then fill that last heart. Time lapse time! And just like that, the resin has cured. This is actually really cool. Even if I decide that I don't like this resin, it's just so cool that it cures so fast. Now, I'm not sure what's going on with this green heart. The edge is still soft, so I'm gonna give it a bit more time to cure. Okay guys, so I gave this heart a bit more time, 12 minutes to be exact, and it still looks the same. It's still soft. It seems the edges got stuck in this jelly form, and I may have sprayed too much alcohol in this heart, but oh well, I don't want to wait anymore. Let's demold these hearts. I'll just leave the green one to last so we don't ruin the other hearts. So as you guys will see, we got some really lovely results with the hearts with the mica powders. The effect is just so pretty, and I'm definitely going to be doing this technique again. I just love the end look. I also love how this polyurethane resin cures rock hard. I tried bending the hearts and they didn't budge, and that to me is super important when it comes to resin. Now, when it came to the glittery hearts, I was really disappointed. The glitter must have detached from the molds, and a lot of that glitter got lost in the resin. In this instant, I'm not liking that this resin cures white. There are other ways that we can make that glitter stand out, especially if I was to use epoxy too, but maybe we can try that in another future video. For the hearts that were mixed with the alcohol inks, I think the glitter look I wanted worked slightly better, but still a lot of that glitter got lost. At least the alcohol ink mixed well with the resin, but keep in mind that when mixing these pigments in, you do have to put a bit more pigment to get the truer color because of the resin curing white. Overall, I really enjoyed working with this new polyurethane resin. It's so cool that it cures so fast, and seeing it cure right in front of your eyes like that was really awesome. Now, before you guys come after me saying, "It's not you!" I know, but it is new to me. I've never used anything like this before. To be honest, I've always stayed away from fast curing resins. The faster the resin cures, the higher the chance you'll get stuck with air bubbles. And for everyone who works with resin, air bubbles equals bad. So unless they're intended, we don't want any air bubbles. I am still on the fence about it curing white. Obviously, in the right circumstance, it is perfect that it does that. It can save you a little bit of money by not having to add white pigment. But yeah, I still have a couple of more experiments that I want to do with this resin, so be sure to keep an eye out for those future videos. And as always, guys, I'd love to know your thoughts. Be sure to comment down below if you've ever tried polyurethane resin and what was your experience like. I'm looking forward to reading your responses. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that you've learned something. If you did, please smash that like button. And if you want to see more resin crafting videos, then be sure to click on one of the ones that are popping on screen now. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!